and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red blast, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to rename the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save this land of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the All Pro Broadcast Network. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras is Michael D'Amico. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight for our inaugural, I'll say it, our maiden voyage here on the YouTube gaming streaming channel now. YouTube announcing this week that they are going forward and presenting gaming streaming now. So typically you would find us over on Twitch TV, but tonight we are on YouTube. So if you're tuning in, we want to thank you for tuning in here to the All Pro Broadcast Network over on YouTube. We have a special event going on for you tonight, and if you are tuning in, it's going to be a great one tonight. We got the trucks at Talladega, and what a night it's going to be. 60 laps of racing, 50% fuel, and a lot of heat. That is right, not just the temperature, but of a lot of emotions with these guys we've seen in practice today. Definitely heating up the competition when we go set to go green. To give you a little bit of rundown of who's on the field tonight, looks like we got Jason Laney, followed by Robbie Williams, Mark Vega, Mark Jackson, Stephen Thomas, Teddy Wisniewski, Greg Webb, Thomas Wagner, Mark Murphy, Mark Moffitt, William Fugit, Chad, this one I apologize, Chad, I'm probably going to Yoshitomi, Andrew Williams, and Danny Rudy, Josh Filial, Zach Leonardi, Josh Ward, PJ Reed, Braden Leary, and J.R. Johnson so far on the field qualifying out there. Right now, looks like 13 drivers have put in their qualifying times here at Talladega. And Josh Laney in that 77 truck, looks like he's holding the pole, but look out, here comes Mark Jackson in that number 3 truck. And Jason Laney does secure it. They're battling back and forth. So the 77 of Jason Laney has the fastest time so far of 48.934. And the number 3 of Mark Jackson is number 2 with a 49.041. Stephen Thomas in that 26 truck is 49.043. And in the 4th position, you got Mark Vega in that number 60 truck at 49.092. And rounding out your top 5 so far, Robbie Williams in that 48 with a qualifying time of 49.260. So we are going to be going green here in about 6 minutes. We do an open qualifier time, give these guys a little bit of chance to figure out who their partner is, because tonight, for this special event, we are doing a top 4 position payout. $5 go to the guys who end up in the top 5 positions here tonight, or 4 positions, here tonight. But talk about a little bit of events while we're going through some qualifying. A little bit of things that come up here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. Monday nights, that's tomorrow night, you want to tune in for our Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling Super Speedway Series. It'll be the 3rd race going on tomorrow night, at Daytona. And so far, it's a tight battle up front. Mitchell Reeves taking home the win at Talladega last week, and Stephen Hendren was the initial series winner, and he didn't do too much with last week's race, but Mitchell Reeves is your points leader overall in the standings. Pull that up for you here. Not Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell Reeves won the race last week, but Dustin Lee is your current series leader in that division over on the Monday nights, Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling Super Speedway Series. So good battle between Dustin Lee, Matthew Quick, and Matt Stolnick. A lot of good battles going on there, so make sure you tune in on Monday nights for that. And that, once again, is Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling Super Speedway Series. Another thing we got coming to the All Pro Broadcast Network on Wednesday nights, you definitely want to tune in. If you're getting kind of a preview of what trucks are all about, we got another truck series coming, brought to you by Apache Graphics and Race Designs and Michelangelo's Painting. They are bringing you trucks on Wednesday nights, and that will be an amazing event. They're going to start their series off of a 4-race series at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Other racetracks will include Michigan, Las Vegas, Daytona, and more to come. I believe we're going to see getting some updates here. Watkins Glen is being thrown in along with Atlanta, Pocono, Talladega, Homestead, and Texas Motor Speedway to close out that series. So, I said 4 races, but I really meant 10. I believe it's 10. And, averaging about 50 laps apiece. So definitely, if you're a night racing driver and you want to get on some good truck action and, going a little bit between ovals and some road courses there, you definitely want to check that out. All this can be found on our website, folks, at www.all-pro-racing.com, or on Facebook. You can check us out. Just look up All Pro Racing. But we want to thank you for tuning in here to the special event, our first YouTube broadcast here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. We are running our special event here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway. Doing the trucks here tonight. That's the Toyota Camrys and Chevy Silverados battling it out here tonight. And as we are taking a look here, The track temperature, just to let you know, tonight is running at around 91 degrees. So it's definitely a hot temperature out there. It's going to provide a little bit of interesting conditions for these tracks, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some more of the qualification times here as we take a look right now. Looks like Robbie Williams is moving into that pole slot at 47.944 so far. He is the fast qualifier. Number 77 of Jason Laney has moved into the second position with a qualifying time of 47.963. The 67 of Mark Muffett is now in third slot with a 47.967, and in fourth you got the 60 of Mark Vega, qualifying time 48.731, and rounding out your top five so far, John Ward in the 92 truck with a 48.732. So definitely a lot of good action coming here tonight. And everybody out there, if you want to give us a good shout out, anybody want to give us a shout out in the YouTube channel, we'll be happy to get it out here on the air. I see we got some of our typical viewers out there. Mr. Ryan Eckstein out there. Guy's a frequent driver in the All-Pro Racing Series, and when he's not able to make a race, folks, he does tune in there. So, Ryan, want to thank you for tuning in here tonight. Definitely always want to thank Mr. Michael D'Amico on cameras. Does an excellent job week in and week out putting this together, and definitely Apache Graphics and Race Designs for all the work they do on the website, getting the results up there after each race. And you can find that again. I'll go ahead and give you our website one more time, folks, if you missed it earlier. It's www.all-pro-racing.com. But we're going to take a quick commercial break here while we're waiting for qualifying, because we're about ready to go green here in about a minute. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be set to go green and get you the gridding positions as they stand. We'll be back after a word from our sponsor, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our inaugural broadcast here on the All-Pro Broadcast Network. We're on YouTube this evening for this special event. We're at Talladega with the trucks here tonight, and already the drivers are making their way to the grid. And as we take a look, looks like the number 48 of Robbie Williams, is on the pole. Got a little bit of tongue-tied there in that iRacing number 48 truck. He posted a qualifying time of 47.944. To his outside, you have the 77 of Jason Laney in that do-it-yourself-sim.com truck. Nice yellow and red paint job on that truck. He posted a qualifying time of 47.963. Starting on the second row on the inside, you got that MPI Silverado of Mark Muffett, number 67, with a qualifying time of 47.967. Lining up to his outside, you have the number 60 truck of Mark Vega with a qualifying time of 40.731. Starting on the inside of the next row, the number 92 in that awesome-looking purple monster energy truck is John Ward. He posted a qualifying time of 48.732, rounding out your top five. To his outside, Mr. Dig-Ahead himself, Teddy Wisniewski, number 25. This guy's no stranger to this track. He loves this track. And starting in the next row, it doesn't look like he's quite made it to the grid, but it is Mark Jackson in that number 3 truck. We should be seeing him soon. There he is, in that black and red Snap-on truck. To his outside, you got the 26 of Stephen W. Thomas in that Chevy Silverado. Nice looking job on that. It looks like a tiger on the front of that truck. Next row, you got the number 93 of Greg Webb, and an interesting looking paint job on that. I think that's an Apache Graphics Design paint job on that truck. Looking good there, Greg. To his outside, Mr. Dan's Heating and Cooling himself, Danny Rudy in that number 5, Dan's top-notch heating and cooling truck. To his inside, you got Toyota himself, Mr. Andrew Williams in that number 4 truck. Followed by to his outside, it looks like William Fugit. We may see him, we may not see him in that 75. But we do progress on with the 27 of Johnny Smith in the next row. His outside in that Tide purple and white truck, you got Thomas Wagner, number 22. And in the next row, you got the 46 of Chad Yoshitomi. Excuse me. I probably butchered that name. I apologize. Yoshitomi there, I'm being told by the production there. So. And then in another guy here, number 11, you got Mark Murphy in that Breaking Bad truck. Nice looking paint job on that truck. And don't know if we're going to get any more on the field there. Trying to look through here. I see we may have some late entries at 63 of Ernie Ludwig. Scott Holmes, excuse me, in the number 25, making his way up there. So that looks like it's going to round out the field here, folks. So we're going to have about 20 trucks into this Talladega race, our inaugural race here on YouTube. We want to thank you for tuning in to the All-Pro Broadcast Network. We're going to be set to go green with Robbie Williams and Jason Laney in the front, taking us green when that pace car drops in. 60 laps at 50% fuel. We're going to be seeing some good racing action here at Talladega. You got 91 degrees on the pavement here, and we're going to be going green. Let's see how this heats up, everybody. Let's get ready. There goes the pace car. We are set to go green here at Talladega. And here we come. They're making their way around the start-finish line. Robbie Williams will be taking us green. And don't know if we may have had an issue there. Checking with race control here. All right, and we are green, folks. We are green here at Talladega. Thought we had a missed start there, but unfortunately, everything did pan out well, and Robbie Williams already down the backstretch here. Taking these boys down. You got on his tail the number 3, that is Mark Jackson. And in front of him, can't quite see it, believe it's Laney's up top at the 77, followed by the 32, or 92, excuse me. Some of these guys on these roof paints, I can't quite grab their numbers, but the 92 of John Ward up there in that middle groove, trying to make that work for him. But you got the 67 of Mark Muffett right there, and Greg Webb now moving up. 67 of Mark Muffett on the bumper of the 48 of Robbie Williams, and already you can start to see him come around in that middle groove, trying to figure out which one is going to benefit them the most. As we see him come down the backstretch here on lap number 2. Robbie Williams, Mark Muffett, Mark Jackson, Greg Webb, and John Ward round out your top 5 here of this 60-lap race. Robbie Williams definitely in cruise control mode with Mark Muffett behind him. And as we take a look here now, the number 3 of Mark Jackson up neck and neck with Robbie Williams as they come down around the front stretch and cross the start-finish line. It looks like, does he do it? Mark Jackson is being told by Race Control is your race leader here going into lap 3. Mark Jackson, Robbie Williams, John Ward, Mark Moffitt, and Greg Webb are the top 5. I want to thank you again, folks, for tuning in. Got a shout out, you want to hear anything out there on the YouTube channel, just go ahead and type it out. We'll be happy to put it out here on the web. Want to thank everybody here for tuning in. This is our inaugural broadcast on the YouTube channel here in the All Pro Broadcast Network. Want to thank YouTube for putting on a streaming option for us. You typically find us over on Twitch TV, but we do have multiple methods that you can catch our races each and every night that we do broadcast. Got a lot of good things coming up here on the All Pro Broadcast Network, so folks, head on over to our website at www.all-pro-racing.com to find out all the great racing action coming at you here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. And it looks like here on lap number 4, the middle groove is battling the lower groove right now. Side-by-side racing action as they head into the backstretch, but Mark Jackson does look like he's winning that battle with John Ward up there in that middle groove. Greg Webb on the bumper of John Ward, so you got 3 on 3. Tonight's race is a top 4 payout, so everybody who plans to be in them top 4 positions collecting that $5 prize definitely have to find a partner out there, because in these Super Speedway series, it does come down to drafting, and if you don't have a partner, folks, you're going to fall back pretty quick. So it looks like Moffitt and Williams are working that lower groove while you have the number 3. That is Mark Jackson and John Ward working it up. Then as they come across the start-finish line on to lap number 5, you can clearly see that middle groove's working. Looks like John Ward wants to go up into the high groove, make it 3 wide, but is not going to be able to do so. Nobody to go with him, so he has to definitely move back down right there behind Mark Jackson. Now as we see some guys making some moves up there, you can definitely look at from the back. I believe that might be Andrew Williams. See if we can get a closer look here. That's Mark Vega. Looked like he wanted to make the move in the number 60 truck up in the higher groove. Was not able to do so. Had to move back down into the middle groove. But there he goes now up into the front stretch. He definitely wants to make a run on that higher groove. Does he have anybody to go with him? It doesn't look like it at this time. But as now, there goes Greg Webb up there. Now we got some 3 wide action. This is what you want to see at the Super Speedways, folks. 3 wide with these trucks as they head into turn 2 towards the backstretch. Greg Webb up there now. And what a race it is on lap number 6 of this 60-lap race. 10% of the way through here, folks. Still, Robbie Williams in that 48 is holding that lower groove. And John Ward right there with Mark Jackson up there in the front, in the middle groove. And now looks like Greg Webb almost got a little paint traded there with John Ward. And, oh, somebody wanted to make it 4 wide, was not able to do so. John Ward battling with Greg Webb as he wants to push Mark Jackson up ahead of Robbie Williams. And there goes John Ward up into the higher groove. Was he trying to block Greg Webb? I'm not sure, but maybe he was trying to signal to Greg Webb. And there's a little bit of contact. Greg Webb now blinking. That could spell disaster there if he gets a little bit of a connection issue, folks. We could see something that could result in an accident. But see, there's a prime example of what I like to tell people with Super Speedway Series. If you don't know much about race dynamics and racecraft, Greg Webb was a prime example of what happens when you don't have a draft partner in these type of Super Speedway races. How fast he went from being up there beside John Ward in roughly about 3rd, 4th, 5th position, is now looking back and sitting currently in about 8th to 9th position. That quick, it can happen that fast, folks. For Robbie Williams. And we got our first caution of the night. And it looks like Jason Laney snuck away. No, he's going to be involved in it. May have been John Ward. And as we take a look from Jason Laney's point of view on this, as he's coming down, there goes John Ward up into the 26 car, the 26 truck of Stephen Thomas, and he's going to get into the bumper. I believe as I take a look here of 27, the truck number 27, that's Johnny Smith. He gets into the bumper of Johnny Smith, and Jason Laney, excuse me, will be spun down into the apron, and he does hit a wall. So we'll have to see how that plays out here. So this brings up But we'll taking a look at the replay from John Ward's perspective now. And as you can see, John Ward does go up into Stephen Thomas. Wow, that sends them both up into the wall. 92 of John Ward being spun around. I think Greg Webb got involved in that. Greg Webb is smoking out of that. John Ward spinning across the start-finish line. We'll have to see how this plays out. Pace car is now out. They are pacing. So we're going to see a lot of people start to head to pit road here already with 50% fuel. Cautions definitely bring out the opportunity and the strategies to get into the pit roads early to prevent green light pitting. So while we are pitting here, we're going to see if we can get a driver on the line for you. That's one thing we like to do here in the All Pro Broadcast Network. Let's get Stephen Thomas on the line. See if we could get a perspective from his point of view. Stephen Thomas, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
So you got a little bit involved in that. It looks like the 92 of John Ward may have come up into you, put you into the wall a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, what happened?
All I saw is that I was trying to push the lines to get some good racing up in front, and all of a sudden I got smashed into. I'm not sure what happened. Looked like some people bobbled, and I just got stuck up high.
Well, definitely, it looks like it was an unfortunate event. Any major damage to the truck? Are you able to come back out of this pretty clean?
I got a couple fast repairs, so able to get back into this, see what we can do, see if we can push somebody up there and get clear.
Anybody you want to give a shout out while we got you on the horn?
Just All Pro Racing again. I appreciate you all having this event. It's always fun.
All right, well, you can definitely give a good shout out to the YouTube community tonight. This is our inaugural race here on YouTube for the All Pro Broadcast Network. That was Stephen Thomas, folks. Part of that caution. Unfortunate events for him going into there. But another guy we wanted to get on the horn for you. We're going to go live to Greg Webb this evening, the number 93 truck. He qualified 9th. It looks like he's currently sitting in 5th position. Greg, I believe you were involved in that last accident. Are you there, bud?
Yeah, go ahead.
Looks like maybe somebody came down into you, maybe the 27 I believe that was Johnny Smith that may have came down into you, caused you to smoke a little bit. Are you able to get away with the clean snap, or did you have to use a quick repair on that one?
Yeah, I had to use a quick repair. That's all, though. We didn't take no tires or nothing. Looked like they got crossed up, and I just went in the middle of them.
Yeah, definitely, and definitely looks like it's good to see that you were unscathed in that. Sitting 4 positions higher than you qualified, you got to be happy with where you're at this point in time.
Oh yeah. We just trying to survive. Or get down to the about 10 to go, and then see what we got.
Definitely. Anybody want to give a shout out to while we got you?
Oh yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, All Pro Broadcasting for putting on the show here tonight. Then Dustin, you announcing, and Michael D'Amico, Apache Graphics, John Hedrick. Just a whole lot of people there.
Well, appreciate the gracious words there, Greg. Best of luck to you in the remainder of the race.
Appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Greg Webb. He got involved into that, but looks like as race control has him in 2nd position. So I said 5 earlier, but looks like he has moved up 7 positions now into that 2nd slot, right there behind Andrew Williams, that number 4 truck. If anybody don't know who Andrew Williams is, he's a frequent driver here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. He's from Australia. So you got a wide array of drivers from all around, as you would typically see in any type of racing event. Andrew hails from some part of Australia. I'm not sure exactly where he hails, but then you got good old Greg Webb, who hails from Tennessee here in the United States. So a lot of real estate between those 2 drivers, but when looking at them on the racetrack, they are bumper to bumper. So interesting turn of events here for some of these drivers. We are on lap number 10 of this 60-lap race here at Talladega. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have some more racing action here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. Stay tuned.
Nick Tandy, what a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it in at 4. Who's it going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to the All Pro Broadcast Network, folks. We're at Talladega racing the trucks here tonight. That is the Toyota Camrys and the Chevy Silverados. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras is Michael D'Amico. We want to thank you for tuning in here to our premiere race here on the YouTube gaming stream channel. Typically taking a break off of our Twitch TV channel to thank YouTube for putting together their gaming streaming site, and it's given us another avenue to be able to bring our broadcasts to you from a different type of media. So we are 11, soon to be 12 laps into the 60-lap race here at Talladega, and the top 5 as they stand, the number 4 of Andrew Williams, followed by the number 93 of Greg Webb. We've got the number 60 of Mark Vega, the number 11 of Mark Murphy, and now moving up into that 5th slot to round out your top 5 is the number 63 truck of Ernie Ludwig. We now see the lights coming off that Mustang iRacing pace truck, so we will be set to go green when they come across turn 4 here, folks. That's by Mark and Mark. That's Mark Vega and Mark Murphy in that second pack. And it looks like we're getting some calls from race control up to the booth. We're going to have to figure out what's going on with that, and maybe something going on here. Try to see when we get that answered. Have to figure out what's going on there. But they are on the back stretch. We will be set to go green. We got Greg Webb, Andrew Williams. As I said before, Andrew hailing from Australia, Greg Webb from Tennessee. A lot of good real estate that covers these guys in their homes. But here on the track, they are side by side and will be going back to green. Andrew Williams will be setting the pace. Once that Mustang iRacing pace car dips into the pits, he will be setting the pace, and we'll find out what happens here. Anything can happen here at Talladega, folks. This is the home of the big one. A lot of big wrecks happen. Looks like we started the race with about 16 to 20 trucks, and only looks like right now 17 trucks are on the field, but the 17th is about 8 laps down. There's 16 laps, or 16 trucks on the lead lap as it shows now. But here they come down the front stretch. We are going to be set to go green. Andrew Williams, Greg Webb, Mark Vega, Mark Murphy, Ernie Ludwig, and Scott Holmes will be taking us back green. Here we go. Pace car is in. Here comes Andrew Williams. And here it goes. Green flag. Andrew Williams, Greg Webb, here they go. As they cross the start-finish line, we are in lap 13 of this 60-lap race here at Talladega. Already Andrew Williams making that lower groove work as he edges out Greg Webb, and now here comes, I believe that's the 60 of Mark Vega, and the 11 of Mark Murphy follows behind Mark Vega. Greg Webb doesn't have a partner, but here comes Andrew. What a turn of events. Andrew Williams now moves up in front of the 93 and able to keep Greg Webb up there. Otherwise, Greg would have lost a few positions, but now we see the 29. It is the 29 of Scott Holmes, followed by, the number 5, and now we have an accident. Oh, my goodness, look at all these trucks involved. Oh, my gosh, this is our second caution, lap 13, and a lot of vehicles involved in this one, folks. I think that, and as we take a look at the replay, Andrew Williams, wow, did he get bobbled around there. May have been Teddy Wisniewski that caused that, but we'll have to see. No, it's just Andrew gets loose up in that high line, and man, does he go around. Unfortunate events there. Wow. Looks like 11 trucks were collected into that caution, folks. Not a good sign already early on into this race. We're going to have to see. Let's see if we could get Andrew on the line to maybe see what happened there. Andrew Williams, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, Dustin, how are you tonight, man?
Well, interesting. I'm quite entertained, as I'm sure as our YouTube crowd out there are entertained. Well, I seen that truck smoking as you entered the pits. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of maybe what happened? It looked like you may have got loose there into turn 4.
Well, we got the green, and I seen my buddy Greg was on the outside, so I thought if he got dropped, I'm going to sort of go back up. I like the middle lane. And we did that. We got these 2 other cats underneath us, and yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, I was holding my lane. From what I've been told from other drivers and stuff, I was holding my line, and I believe maybe someone who was on the bottom row, second back, I'm not going to name numbers, I think he just came up and made a bit of net code, but we're going to be watching that guy. But yeah, what can you do, man? You know it is, Dustin. This is racing.
Definitely unfortunate events for you there, Andrew. But telling everybody what quite a real estate distance between you and Greg Webb. I know you said you guys are buddies. Greg hailing from Tennessee here in the United States, and you all the way from Australia. Where about in Australia, if I may ask?
I mean, I reside in Sydney, Sydney, Australia. So one of the nicest cities you can get in Australia, and it's actually voted quite often one of the nicest cities in the world.
So it's
beautiful barbecues and beautiful beaches.
Say that you're the opera singer here on the track tonight, singing your song with your race skill. Is that correct?
I won't be singing, but we've got a fast truck. I'm sure we'll get back up there. We've got a good networking team here with Greg and Teddy Wisniewski and stuff. So I'm sure we'll get back up there sooner rather than later. But yeah,
definitely, you got a lot of laps to do it in, though, Andrew. A lot of laps to do it in.
Just unfortunate, but hey, that happens, and we learn our things. I'll tell you what, I did learn something from last time. That was under the restarts before. I actually lost a gallon of fuel when I pitted the first pit opening to when we went green. So it's actually we're going to go green for a while. It's actually good to keep starting and getting that top up.
Well, every little lap you learn a little bit more. That's definitely the way it goes in racing there, Andrew. Anybody you want to give a shout out to while we got you on the line, bud?
I just want to say thank you very much to obviously yourself, Dustin, and Michael D'Amico. Known D'Amico for a long time. It's good to be back working with him again, and All Pro Broadcasting, All Pro Racing. It's just good to be amongst these guys. I was working well there before with Danny from Dan's Top Notch, so that's cool. But yeah, just having a blast and ready to have some fun.
Well, go ahead and give a shout out to our YouTube channel. This is our premier YouTube broadcast for the All Pro Broadcast Network. Typically it would be on Twitch TV, but tonight we are on YouTube. So Andrew, go ahead and give them a shout out there for us.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that we're out on YouTube there on All Pro Racing's YouTube channel. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're at home watching or in the bathroom, I hope you're enjoying it.
There you go, folks. Andrew Williams, the Aussie, with many words for you there. So definitely a lot of good turn of events here tonight that are shaping out. We're 15 laps into the 60-lap race and already had 2 cautions under our belt. Looks like about 5 to 6 lead changes already happening here tonight. So get in these super speedway conditions, anything's liable to happen. And in 15 to 16 laps, 2 cautions, 6 lead changes already happening. So as we take a look, I'll give you the top rundown as it shows by Race Control. We got the number 60 of Mark Vega, and in second, the 27 of Johnny Smith, the 46 of Chad. One more time from the production, could I get a pronunciation on that name? It's Yashitomi. I think I did good there. Chad Yashitomi, and 67 of Mark Moffitt, and in rounding up the top 5 is the 93 of Greg Webb. So definitely a lot of things going on here, folks. We want to thank you again for tuning in here to our YouTube channel tonight. Don King out there in the YouTube community wanted to give a shout out to Danny Rudy from Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling puts on our Monday Super Speedway event. You're going to see that. We want you to tune in for that tomorrow. They will be at Daytona racing a lot of good vehicles coming up. All that, you can find that information and more, because we do have a truck series, kind of like what you're seeing going on here tonight. A little bit of a blend with that coming up on Wednesdays. We got a Cadillac series on Thursdays, but they will be racing some good cars tomorrow night at Daytona. So we want you to tune in for that. You can find all that information and more on our website at www.all-pro-racing.com. And another person we want to give a shout out to here on, I believe it's Friday nights, Friday night's going to Loose Lugnuts Racing. They got a lot of things going up in their Wheelman series. They opened up with the K&N Chevy Impalas last week at Charlotte, but I believe they're going to be at Chicagoland with Silver Crown cars coming up this Friday on the 4th of September. So if you want to get in on that, all that information you can find on our website. Again, www.all-pro-racing.com. All of our sponsors, all of our partners are on that website, so check it out, folks. Get all that information there on our website. And if you don't, if you're a Facebook person too, I always like to throw that out there, and you want to find some information there, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/allproracing. So as we take a look, the lights are off the Mustang iRacing pace car as it makes its way into the turn. And we'll be set to go green with the number 60 of Mark Vega and the number 46 of Chad Yoshitomi in the outside lane. I think I'm finally getting this guy's name down here tonight, and I apologize, Chad. You get back to watch this. I didn't get a chance to get your name before the broadcast, so unfortunately, got to make the best with what you got when you got it. So here they come down the front stretch. Mark Vega, Chad Yoshitomi, Greg Webb, Mark Jackson are your front four. Currently sitting in what we would call the money positions. And the Mustang iRacing pace car goes into the pits. We are set to go green here on lap 17, heading into lap 18 of this inaugural YouTube broadcast race, Talladega here, special event here tonight. Thank you for tuning in, folks. And now we got a green flag. Mark Vega, Chad Yoshitomi, Greg Webb, Mark Jackson taking us back to racing action here at Talladega. And already that 60 moves away because he's got help from Mark Jackson in that lower groove. And now the 92 of John Ward in that purple and white and black Monster Energy truck moves up right on the bumper of Mark Jackson. And there they go into the middle groove. I don't know. Mark Vega doesn't really have anybody helping him there, so he's going to fall back. And as we see the 3 and the 92 now pull away as they get ready to head into turn 3. And here they come. John Ward moving down into that lower groove. Left his buddy, number 3 of Mark Jackson up there in the middle groove. But don't look out now. Here comes Johnny Smith and the 11 of Mark Murphy right up under the bumper of the number 3. And already the 46 of Chad Yoshitomi able to move up onto Mark Vega's bumper as they come around the front stretch, moving across the start-finish line. Lap 19 in the books. Here of this 60-lap race, they are running 50% fuel, but these guys do get what they call a quick repair. If you're not familiar with iRacing terms, they're able to go into the pits. Some sessions allow it, and we do here in some iRacing events, where you're able to go in and get a quick repair where you would typically, and in real racing, they would have to actually repair the vehicle. So, and a little bit of bump action now there from Mark Vega into Chad Yoshitomi. Chad Yoshitomi now has to check up and move back a little bit, but look at this move now. Here we're seeing some good racing action. Looks like the 27 of Johnny Smith is now up there in front of John Ward. A lot of Johns and a lot of Marks in this race here tonight, so apologize if I get any names mixed up as they come across the start-finish line into lap number 20 of this 60-lap race. 30% in the books, folks, here at Talladega. And Johnny Smith is your race leader, followed by Mark Jackson, Mark Murphy, Mark Vega. Look at this top 4 position, and we got 3 Marks in the Johnny. My goodness. And in the 5th slot, rounding out the top 5, Andrew Williams. Extending into your top 10, you got Teddy Wisniewski, Chad Yoshitomi, Scott Holmes, Ernie Ludwig, and looks like Greg Webb is in that 9th slot, and Stephen Thomas will round out your top 10 here so far on lap number 20 of the 60-lap race here at Talladega. So these guys won't have to worry about green flag pitting for a few more laps, probably to about lap 40. You can get about 20 laps here on these trucks at the Super Speedway Series with 50% fuel, so hopefully everybody now has settled down with these couple of cautions and we'll get some good racing action going on. As we take a look now, boy, what a gap do we have from our front 8 up there, between front 8, and that be Scott Holmes and then Ernie Ludwig. Man, they are a few cars behind. I'm going to give it ballpark it at about 20 car lengths back. Ernie Ludwig now there with Greg Webb. They're going to have to work together to gain some ground, and they are. Look at them. We take a look at believe that's Ernie Ludwig and Greg Webb working together there as they're bump drafting, as they say is a term, working together. When two trucks get together, rather than running side by side, if they get bumper to bumper, they create more of a draft or maneuver around the air, so they become more aerodynamic and are able to push around and actually get faster speeds. It's kind of what they had to do in what I was talking about earlier. If you were tuning in during open qualifying, this is what they needed to do to be able to get higher qualifying times. So some of the guys that have better qualifying times definitely had a partner out there, you know, before we went to the gridding pattern. So right now, Mark Jackson, though, up front, as Greg Webb and Eddie Ludwig make their move closer to the front of the pack. You've got Mark Jackson in at number 3 with Johnny Smith and Mark Murphy, Andrew Williams, Mark Vega are up there in your front right now as they come across the start-finish line into lap 22. And the 27 of Johnny Smith is taking us here into lap 23. Lower groove working for him. But Mark Jackson and Mark Murphy up there. Well, again, folks, a lot of marks in this top 5 alone. So we had John Ward gets back up there, we'd have 3 Marks and 2 Johns. Definitely could just be disastrous on this announcer for trying to get the names correct here. But Mark Jackson in that number 3 car, Johnny Smith in the 27. The number 11 is Mark Murphy. The number 4, Andrew Williams, and the number 60, Mark Vega. And as they come around the turn into lap 23, finishing up lap 23, heading into lap 24, not a lot of change. So this is the part of the race where everybody kind of settles in and just goes cruise control, because it all comes down to a fuel consumption game. Who can stay out the longest and pit the latest, hopefully, to be able to set them up to get, when everybody else would be pitting, to put them at the front of the pack at the most crucial point of the race, and that is the white flag into the checkered flag. You don't have to lead many laps in racing, folks, but the one thing they tell you, you want to lead that last lap, which will guarantee you victory. And tonight, the top 4 places are getting a $5 cash payout for this special event. This is our special event here, broadcasting live on YouTube, and we want to thank you for tuning in to the All Pro Broadcast Network. Everybody out there, I see Loose Love Nuts Racing is out there in our YouTube channel, and then get some positive feedback from him. I want to thank Ryan Eckstein, Donald King out there. Or some good words from that guy. But want to thank you again. And like I said, we have a lot of racing action coming up here in the All Pro Broadcast Network. You can find all that and more on our website at www.all-pro-racing.com. And on Facebook as well, facebook.com/allproracing. So we are getting close to the halfway point here, lap 25 of the 60-lap race here tonight. This is our special event. And as we can see now, not a lot of moves. The 27 and the 3 are your front runners with the 92. Looks like John Ward may have moved in there, right up under the bumper of the 27. And then you have the 11 of Mark Murphy to his outside now. That's your front 4-pack. Mark Vega in that white truck right behind John Ward, kind of running solo in for a moment with him and Chad Yoshitomi on the bumper of Mark Vega. Then you have the number 4 of Andrew Williams. Looks like he's losing a little bit of ground, but Chad Yoshitomi comes up in front of him. So they might be doing some bump drafting and see how this plays out. Now look at them, they're gaining some ground on that 11 truck. So they're definitely being a contender for that middle groove. Let's see how these guys work together. Will they go up to the high groove to make it 3 wide? Chad starts to go, but is not able to do it and settles behind the 11. Coming around the corner, it looks like the middle groove is currently beating out the lower groove. So Mark Jackson is right there beside Johnny Smith. And as they come across the start-finish line, Johnny Smith still deemed your race leader at the time here on lap number 27 with Mark Jackson in 2nd, Mark Murphy in 3rd, Mark Vega in 4th, and Chad Yoshitomi in 5th. What a good race we got now, folks. Everybody's nerves are out of the way. Everybody's settling it in, and just look at this side-by-side action. And we got a little bit of check up there with Mark Vega into the bumper of John Ward. What a event is happening here, man. This is some great racing. If you're a fan, if you're a short track racing fan, sometimes it could be a little bit mundane to watch these super speedway series. You don't get a lot of passing right away throughout the first half of the race. But if you're a super speedway fan, high speeds, high temperatures, high fueled nerves definitely brings a lot of good racing action here. And the lap 28, we definitely have seen that so far with a couple of cautions and 8 lead changes already. And as we take a look, John Ward, just to give you a heads up, folks, if you're watching here, and as you see the number 27 of Johnny Smith, John Ward's on the bumper of him. But John Ward is a lap down at this point in time, so even though he's up there with the... Oh, and then we got another caution coming out. Will they draw the caution flag? So people got loose, went quickly under the apron. I don't know if we're going to see a caution. And finally the caution flies. Third caution. And it looks like Mark Jackson in the number 3 truck was the one that caused this. We'll have to go to the replay and take a look and maybe see what happened there. I believe he may have gotten loose coming around the turn, and it looks like the 46 of Chad Yoshitomi may have gotten him loose by air, as they say, and the 27 of Johnny Smith. Taking a look at that, and they got a little bit loose, and then there goes the 3 of Mark Jackson down and around, and John Ward collected in that. So unfortunate events there. Doesn't look like too much damage was done, but I believe when the initial caution comes out, they close the pit road. So I believe a lot of cars will be looking to get maybe some tires here once they come back around, and we'll have to see how this plays out. See if we can just taking a look here, folks, for you. We'll see if we can get the instigator of this caution possibly in horn for you here, folks. As we go to our radio, we're going to see if we can get Mark Jackson on the line for you. Mark Jackson, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, bud?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, so if you can give us a rundown of what happened here in this last caution. Maybe it looks like, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and say Chad Yoshitomi came up on your bumper, got you a little bit loose through the air, because I seen Johnny Smith get a little bit loose as well when he was trying to make a maneuver. But how did it play out for you?
Man, I'm not really sure. The only thing I knew, I went around sliding around backwards, so we're just going to go into pits here, get her fixed, and see what happens these last few laps.
Talking with your crew chief, any kind of damage on the truck, or is everything looking pretty good?
Yeah, we got a little damage. We're going to get it fixed up here. I got a good crew chief. I want to give a shout out to Apache Graphics and see what we have here for the end. I think we still got a good truck.
Well, there you have it, folks. Mark Jackson here on the third caution of our 60-lap race. So we are at 30 laps, the halfway point of this race here tonight. Want to thank them for joining us here, and all of you out there in our YouTube community for joining us here tonight for this premiere race broadcasting on the All Pro Broadcast Network on YouTube. But nearing the halfway point and on the caution, folks, we are going to take a commercial break. But when we come back, we'll give you the top 5 rundown, maybe give you another driver interview before we're set to go green here at Talladega. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Talladega, folks. We are glad you could join us here on the All-Pro Broadcast Network this Sunday evening for our special event, our premier YouTube broadcast live stream here on the YouTube Gaming Network. We want to thank you again for tuning here. A lot of good events have progressed here tonight. And as we see now, the number 93 of Greg Webb, who is deemed the race leader, is heading into the pits for some pitting adjustments. I believe they're going to take some tires here. We were coming off of a caution caused by Mark Jackson getting a little bit loose there before we went to commercial break, and definitely getting some guys, some of these guys that were thankful. One guy to be thankful for this is the 92 of John Ward. Was one lap down, got the lucky dog, was able to get back on the lead lap. So we have, out of 20 cars to start the race, we got 15 on the lead lap. 2 cars out there would be Danny Rudy and Thomas Wagner, who are 18 and 28 respectively now laps down. But this is a special event with a top 4 cash payout for our top 4 finishers. $5 goes to places 1 through 4. Currently, as it stands by race control, your top 5 rundown here at Talladega. As we see, the lights are off. The Mustang iRacing pace car heading down the back stretch. Mark Murphy, the number 11, is your race leader, followed by the 60 of Mark Vega, 63 of Ernie Ludwig, and 29 of Scott Holmes. Chad Yoshitomi in the 46 truck rounds out your top 5. Going to be Mark Murphy, Mark Vega, 2 marks in the front, taking us back green here on lap 32, heading into lap 33 of this 60-lap race here on our special event night at Talladega. And soon we'll be seeing when that pace car comes around, that Mustang iRacing pace car will come around, dip in the pits. Mark Murphy will set the pace with Mark Vega to his outside. In the second group, you have Ernie Ludwig, Scott Holmes, respectively. Ernie Ludwig in the inside, Scott Holmes to the outside. And here we go. There goes the Mustang into the pits. We're set to go green on lap 32, heading into lap 33 at Talladega. Get ready for it, and here goes the green flag. Green flag waves. Number 11, Mark Murphy, taking us back green into lap 33 of lap 60 of this 60-lap race here at Talladega. I apologize, folks. And already here they go. Mark Murphy doesn't have anybody quite yet. Mark Vega got a little bit of help from the 29, but who can get there first? Will it be the 29 or the 63? We'll have to see. Looks like they're both moving up pretty quick, as whoever gets up on the bumper of the higher of the low group will get out to the front of the other respective. And it looks like they both get there, so not a lot of move between the front 2. Both marks able to stay neck and neck into turn 3. A little bit of help, and the 29, that is Scott Holmes getting a little bit of loose there in the middle group. But because of it, looks like the 11 is going to be able to edge out the number 60. But don't look too fast as they come down the front stretch. Here comes the 60. It looks like he's got a run on him. We'll have to see how this pans out with the 29 to the back of him. And here comes the 27 and Yoshitomi in the 46. 27 is Johnny Smith. He's moving up quick now onto the bumper of the 29 of Scott Holmes. And here they come, moving around out of turn 2 into the back stretch. Neck and neck, but already the 27 had a good run. Looks like everybody's slowing down up into the front, but here they go. They're getting a good push now. You got 3 trucks moving that draft in the middle groove, and down into the middle groove goes Mark Vega. And the 29 lets him down nicely, stays in the middle groove with the 27 on his rear. What a move that was, and wow, 29 looking a little loose. I'd be a little worried if I was anybody around Mr. Holmes, because he is swaying a lot in his middle groove. And already we can see Mark Vega with Mark Murphy working together. And I believe that's the 63 of Ernie Ludwig. So 2 marks and an Ernie on the bottom here on lap number 35. Looks like the 29 and the 27. That is Scott Holmes and Johnny Smith. Moving into lap traffic, there's Greg Williams now. Everybody's moving around him. Kind of parted like the Red Sea right around Mr. Webb. I don't think, listening to the racers talk there, I don't think they were too happy with that as we listen in on some of the race of things going around. I don't think everybody was happy with Greg's positioning on that. They kind of had to part around him. Greg Webb will possibly move a lap down here once he crosses the start-finish line. But not a lot of change going up front right now. We got the 60 of Mark Vega, the 11 of Mark Murphy on the lower groove, the 29 and the 27. 29, Scott Holmes, 27 of Johnny Smith. The number 3 now you see up there, that's Mark Jackson. And then on to his inside is the 63 of Ernie Ludwig. Chad Yoshitomi in that 46 truck. He's trying to get caught up with the middle groove, but they're now running away with it. There goes the 29. And now they come down. 29, that is Scott Holmes with Johnny Smith to his bumper, are going to move over Mark Vega, leaving Mark Vega on the bumper of the 27, pulling away from the 11, but it looks like the 11's now going to catch up. Number 3 out there in no man's land in that middle groove all by himself. He better get down in that middle groove, as he does. Otherwise, he would have lost more positioning. Mark Jackson able to get behind the bumper, so almost, I'm kind of waiting to see 3 marks in a row. Kind of like a duck, goose, if you will. Getting 3 marks in a row in the lead, but haven't had that yet so far. We've had 3 marks in the top 4, but they weren't in a row, unfortunately. But currently, as it stands, Scott Holmes, Johnny Smith, Mark Vega, Mark Murphy, there's Mark Jackson. So we do have 3 marks. We ought to have a lottery for that. See how many people with the same name we can get in a row here. That'd be a good over-under. Have to send that one out to Vegas and see how that would play out. Yeah, Mark Vega, Mark Murphy, Mark Jackson are respectively 3rd, 4th, and 5th here on lap number 37 of the 60-lap race. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in here to the All-Pro Broadcast Network, folks. This is our special event broadcast here on YouTube. A couple of sponsors to give a shout-out to, Michelangelo's Painting. See them throughout the All-Pro Series. That's Michael D'Amico, our camera guy. If you are in the Mesa, Arizona region and looking for some painting, give a shout out to Michelangelo's Painting. They'll do some good paint jobs for you. Also want to thank Apache Graphics and Race Designs. They do some good job with our website. Our website being www.all-pro-racing.com. You can go over there and check out all of their great hard work that they put on and all the informative events and race results we have posted up there. If you're an iRacer and want to get in on some of this great racing action with some cash payouts here in the All-Pro Racing League, you can find all that information and more on our website. Once again, is www.all-pro-racing.com. A couple things I want to give a shout out to while we're on lap number 39 of this 60-lap race. A couple things. Tomorrow night, we will be in action at Daytona. That's for the Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling Series. Danny Rudy was racing in the race here tonight, but Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling sponsoring that series. That they're going to be at Daytona running the Xfinity Series cars. That's a Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling Super Speedway Series. Kind of a bounce back and forth. They'll be actually at Talladega in a couple of weeks. And then finally on September 14th, we'll be closing out that 5-race series at Daytona with a night race. And that is a Dash for Cash points series where everything these guys do gives them points to be able to claim that grand prize when it's all said and done at the end of that 5-race series. So that'll be on Monday night. Coming up on Wednesday night, we have a truck series coming at you with the Camping World Trucks, kind of what you're seeing here tonight. That's the Silverados and Tundra, it's a Camry. Battling it out there in the Apache Graphics and Race Designs Truck Series. You'll find that's looking pretty good over there on that. And Thursday nights, a little bit of our schedule here for you. They have the All-Pro Cadillac Challenge. That's a good Wheelman Series, which Wheelman Series, I use the terminology, is the Loose Lug Nuts Series found on Friday nights. You can find that out of there. They've got a Loose Lug Nuts graphic you can click on there and get the full schedule and line up there as well. So head on over to our website, folks. Get all of our information, all of our race results, all that and more you can find at our website. I'll give it to you here. Once again, www.all-pro-racing.com. So we are on lap number 41 of this 60-lap race, and Mark Murphy looks like he is in cruise mode with the number 29 of Scott Holmes on his bumper, and moving up ever so slightly is the number 3 car of Mark Jackson being pushed by that 63 of Ernie Ludwig. 60 of Mark Vega. Ernie Ludwig there right behind the 27 of Johnny Smith. And now they come around the front stretch of lap 41 heading into lap 42. We did have a few cautions, so they're going to get a little bit more fuel mileage than what would be typically expected. They're running 50% fuel, which puts them at about 20 to 22 laps on these trucks in these super speedway conditions. But when you're pacing for a few cautions, you go in and get a little bit of fuel, maybe some tire changes. They're going to be out a little bit longer. So I wouldn't start to see them maybe pit until lap 47 to 50. That way you can get some good positioning there for the final few laps to close out this special event race, where we are paying out the top 4 positions a $5 cash prize. And there goes the number 60 of Mark Vega. He moves down to assume the race lead over Mark Jackson, who now falls back with Mark Murphy. Again, I said there's a lot of marks up in front, folks, here tonight. We didn't plan this, it just happened this way. And now we're starting to see some tempers flare as these cars are making some maneuvers here into lap 43. And these guys got their draft partners working together. Looks once they get their draft partners, they want to get away from the pack, get out in front of everybody. That way, if a caution comes out, they're definitely out of harm's way. You definitely want to be ahead of the caution and not behind it. They're neck and neck as they head down the back stretch. You got the number 3 and the number 60. That's Mark Vega and Mark Jackson, excuse me. But it looks like Johnny Smith is pushing Jackson up ahead. Will he go down the lower groove? No! Looks like Mark Vega and Mark Murphy. And I keep saying Mark. I'm going to run out on marks here. Are now moving in that lower groove. In the 29, that's Scott Holmes. He's moving up right to the side of the 27. Let's see how this plays out. Will anybody go up to the higher groove? I heard, get some information that says sometimes the higher groove does pan out better. And as I've seen some of these drivers driving tonight, they get these good runs in the middle groove, but they always want to go to that lower groove, and it just looks like they lose momentum. Not too sure on that. And you guys out there in the YouTube community want to correct me on that. But, it looks like everybody gets these good runs in the middle groove, but then they just want that lower groove, and that's where all the momentum's lost. But as we take a look here, the 60 of Mark Vega, the 11 of Mark Murphy are now starting to pull away from the pack as the 29 doesn't have anybody there. But he's able to hold on to it, maybe be dragging that 11 car back to him. Get some draft as you see these cars are swaying. They get up to some high speeds in these vehicles. And I'm telling you, anything can happen. That's why these super speedways are known for having large wrecks, especially Talladega, home of the big one. High speeds with high conditions can put you in the right formula for a major accident. And it looks like the 29, look at him sway. God, Holmes may wants to get around the 11, but the 3 of Mark Jackson closes in on him and denies him a chance to get around. And Greg Webb now, look at this, Greg Webb, who is 1 lap down. Wow, he's making his way around to the front. That's amazing, folks. As we saw them part around him like the Red Sea, that number 93, they went right around them, but now he's making his way back up. I bet he's praying for a caution at this point, because if they get a caution, he'll get the lucky dog and get back on that lead lap, then have a shot for the win. But we are on lap number 46. Time's running out. And Mark Vega and Mark Murphy definitely are commanding a lead here, with the 29 and the 3 and the 27 knocking at their back door. But nobody wants to help the number 3 of Mark Jackson up in that middle groove. And he's slowly falling back, and you see the 27. That's Johnny Smith getting up onto the bumper of the 29 of Scott Holmes. What a race, folks. This is what we're all about here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. A lot of good racing action, week in and week out, day after day. We want you to tune in. If you can't be a part of this action, at least tune in either on Twitch TV or on YouTube now. We'll be coming at you from a lot of medias when we start to broadcast more and more. Want you to tune in and catch all the great racing action here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. And look at that number 3 of Mark Jackson, squeeze in between the 11 and the 27. What a move! He was up in that middle groove, didn't want to lose any more positions, and he just nudged his way in right there to the bumper, kind of hung on, gripped out that 11 of Mark Murphy, was able to stay with them now and not lose much momentum. The 27, though, of Johnny Smith is starting to fall back fast. He'll have to see if he can get a side draft to catch up on that number 3, and it's looked like what he's trying to do by going up to the higher side by the dotted lines. And the 11 now wants to go. He wants to leave and get out there. Or is he just making way for the 27? What a move. Now the 3 of Mark Jackson is up there with the 11. Mark Vega and Johnny Smith now in that lower groove. But here comes the 29 of Scott Holmes. Up onto the bumper of the number 11. They're going to come around the back stretch here. We'll have to see how this plays out. Is anybody going to go to the higher groove, make it 3 wide, and get a run around? Or are they just kind of maintaining at this point? We are on lap 48, folks. Not a lot to go. We got about 12, 13 laps to go in this race. Always you'll see, they tell you time after time at Talladega, once you get under 10 laps, that's when everybody wants to start making their moves, and that's when the quote-unquote big one happens. So, and as we see the 29, that's Scott Holmes. He's now swaying back and forth, and look at him go up into the high groove. I don't know if air is pushing him around or if he's just getting a little bit loose on those tires. But he is swaying and now going to lose some positioning. And they're coming around some lap cars. So we have 11 cars on the lead lap now, folks. A lot of cars. We have about 4 cars, 1 lap down. And so it takes a look. Greg Webb, John Ward, Stephen Thomas, and Teddy Wisniewski are 1 lap down, respectively. That's battling for 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th position. Oh, and the 11 of Mark Murphy gets loose, but he's able to hold on to it. Whoa! That was amazing. He went nearly sideways and was able to save the car. Is he going to go into the pits this lap? He's going to have to pit because I know he lost some tread off them tires right by the 29. I've been saying it all these past few laps. Scott Holmes has been getting really loose. Got up into the 11 of Mark Murphy, and my goodness. That's an unfortunate event there for Mark, but it looks like he is gaining some ground, so I would look to see him in the next few laps dip into the pits and get a quick, maybe a couple tires, because those kind of maneuvers and going sideways like that definitely will chew out the tread and take you out of contention for first. But with that little incident now, Mark Vega, Johnny Smith, and Mark Jackson definitely commandedly a move away from the rest of the pack, and those 3 are now moving up away to the point where nobody's really contending in them at this point. But I don't know if they're going to have enough fuel to make it all the way with 10 more laps to go. We now are on lap 51. We'll have to see how this plays out. With these 3 trucks, they're working in tandem to get away from everybody to secure their $5 payout. It is the top 4 positions that are getting paid out here tonight, folks. Mark Vega, Johnny Smith, Mark Jackson there in the backstretch, pulling away from the rest of the pack. And in 4th, you have Scott Holmes right there with them. And it looks like John Ward now is moving up there beside him. John Ward is ahead of him there. John Ward working, looks like John Ward's working with the number 93 of Greg Webb. They are both a lap down. But anything can happen, and if a caution does come out, hopefully these guys will get the lucky dog and back on the lead lap. And here comes Mark Vega, Johnny Smith, Mark Jackson into the pits, folks, on lap number 52. Let's see what Mark Vega does here as he comes into the pits. He is their race leader at this point in time. Any tires, or is it just going to be fuel? We're not seeing the crew come out and raise that truck up. I think he just took fuel on that one, so just fuel for these guys, no tires. Oh, and he gets spun out! Mark Vega gets spun out at the end. Did he just spin out the truck, or did he get clipped? It looked like it was a self-spin. He might have hit the pace car on that one. Oh, dock him a little points for that. Call up the Mustang dealership. He dented that Mustang pace car coming around it. And that's he probably saw that, got a little bit loose and self-spins. Tough break for Mark Vega in that 60 truck. But right now, the number 3 of Mark Jackson looks to be your race leader. He's out there solo into the backstretch. Coming off into turn 3, he is your race leader, followed by the 27 of Johnny Smith, the 29 of Scott Holmes, and the 67 of Mark Moffitt. Wow, what a turn of events here later in the half of this race, folks. We've seen a lot of things happen, but Mark Vega, fortunate for him, was able to get to the race lead and pull away. Had a good lead coming into the pits, but spun out there coming out of the pits, and that's going to be detrimental to his positioning here now with we're on lap 53 with about 7 laps to go, folks. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get back up to the front, but anything can happen. We can have a caution and he can get back up there. But we currently have now 12 cars on the lead lap. And Yasha Tomei, who was up there around the lead, is our 12th man. He was up there with the leaders for the majority of the race, and I think after a caution kind of got him pushed back, and currently is now sitting in 12th. As we take a look at that number 3 truck crossing the start-finish line on the lap 54, time winning down. Moffitt now by race control. Look at these guys working together now. This is amazing. The 67, the 77, and the 48. Guys who were up front early on. You know, this is respectively 3-2-1 qualifiers is now 1-2-3. Kind of neat, the inverse of how this is working. Mark Moffitt, Jason Laney, and Robbie Williams are your front 3. And look at the 67 go up. I don't know if they're going to pit. He's going to stay out, or just a little bit of interchange going on. But the 77 of Jason Laney now is your race leader, with the 48 of Robbie Williams. I keep wanting to say Robbie Williams in that 48 there on the back of the 77, and the 67 of Mark Moffitt moves into third slot. They went right around to number 3, and as you can see, time and time again, folks, when you have a draft partner, you're going to get more positioning a lot faster and ahead of everybody, and it looks like the number 3 of Mark Jackson lost out in that one as he now moves back to the 7th position of this race. So we have 5 laps to go. We're on lap 55. Jason Laney, Robbie Williams, Mark Moffitt, Andrew Williams, and Johnny Smith are your top 5 into lap 55. We'll have to see anything else is going to happen here in this race as we take a look behind the 67. See the 4th positioning truck here of Andrew Williams. He's right there, and they're gaining ground now. The 27 of Johnny Smith and the 11 of Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy definitely gives him a trophy for the recovery award of the night. Truck nearly went sideways, was able to keep it, and look now, he is currently sitting in 6th position. Definitely saved his chances at the race and not ending up a few laps down with an accident. And here's where it's going to get great, folks. Lap 56, we're winding it down, and already look at this side-by-side battle into the backstretch. The 77 of Laney is now getting ready to be passed by the number 4 of Andrew Williams. Look at this race. Look at them go up in that middle groove. What a race! This is what you want to see at these Speedway Series races, folks. And my goodness, a side-by-side battle as they come out of turn 4. Coming down into the front stretch, the 77, the 48 is accompanied by the 4 and the 27. Look at them come around the start-finish line. And here's where the nerves, the tensions, and everything begins to amp up as they get closer and closer to the white flag and soon the checkered. Number 4 of Andrew Williams is getting a good push from Johnny Smith up there in that middle group. Mark Murphy on the back of the 27. Jason Laney and Robbie Williams, got it right the first time. Robbie Williams in that 48 in that lower groove. And here comes the 3 now, the 3 of Mark Jackson, making it 3 wide. Look at him come up into the middle. A lot of good side drafting. In 11, will there be an accident? Mark Murphy! Oh, Mark Murphy! Mark Murphy did not like Mark Jackson coming up there getting him loose. And boy, does Mark Murphy take Mark Jackson with him. There's our big one. I'm going to call it. That's our big one of the night, folks. My goodness, this is what an interesting turn of events here in the last few laps of this race. And race control saying Jason Laney is the leader, followed by Andrew Williams, Robbie Williams, and Mark Moffitt in the top 4 money positions. I'm not sure we're going to get a green-white checkered out of this, folks. It looks like that's going to do it. And as we take a look at that, wow, Mark Murphy got spun by the number 3 of Mark Jackson. 2 marks got a lot of angers, a lot of temper between those 2 marks, and they took each other out. And then, as you see, folks, the number 3, wow, Mark Jackson went for a ride. I think he wiped his nose on the pavement with that truck. He was vertical. And what a, wow. I'm going to see if I can get Mark Murphy on the line. Mark Murphy, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, buddy?
Yep.
My goodness. You know, I was boasting about you tonight, man. You had the recovery award going on. Truck going sideways, you're able to recover it. But it looks like Mark Jackson got you sideways, and what led to the move to take him with you? I mean, the number 3, you went right back up into him. Is that hey, you got me, I'm going to get you move, or can you tell us a little bit about that? Are you there, Mark?
Which Mark?
Sorry, one more time there, buddy. Are you there? Looks like we're having a little bit of radio communication problems there with Mark Murphy. But, yeah, definitely interesting turn of events. So I believe that's going to do it. Jason Laney, Andrew Williams, Robbie Williams. 2 Williams up in the front. And the 27 of Johnny Smith will be your top 4 finishing out tonight's special event here on YouTube. I want to thank everybody out there in YouTube for joining us here tonight for this special event race. Excuse me, I apologize. Kind of sipping on a root beer float up here in the booth and get a little bit of bubblies on me here. So we'll be we're going to take a commercial break here, folks, but we'll be back with some driver interviews after this. I want to thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back to Talladega for our conclusion ceremony here on the All Pro Broadcast Network. What an interesting turn of events. Mark Murphy getting spun loose by Mark Jackson, and thus drawing out the final, our quote-unquote big one of the evening, solidifying Jason Laney, Andrew Williams, Robbie Williams, and Johnny Smith, our top 4 for tonight's payout. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to get some driver interviews for you here as they're finishing up their 60th lap, coming around with the caution. Once they conclude that lap, we will have that. But basically the way it goes, folks, we have about 3 to 4 laps of pacing, and if any caution comes out within lap 56 to lap 57, which is what happened, then your top 4 slots are deemed to win. The positions are solidified. So Jason Laney is your winner here tonight, the number 77 truck, the do-it-yourself-sim.com truck, and Andrew Williams is in second. Robbie Williams, the number 48, is in third. Johnny Smith, the 27 truck, is in fourth. So we will get some interviews here once they cross the start-finish line to truly solidify their place here tonight. We're going to go ahead and get Andrew Williams on the line here. He is your second place finisher. Andrew Williams, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there, bud?
Yay, Dustin, I'm here. How you going, man?
Well, we talked to you earlier tonight. Got some good banter going back and forth. Qualifying 11th, coming in to start the race, finishing second, and getting a money position here tonight. How do you feel about the race?
All in all, I mean, to finish inside the top 5, just a whisker off getting that in front of that guy when that caution came out. Man, I'm pretty happy with that. I knew we had a 5-strike, but yeah, the race was pretty frustrating when we seen that there was like up to 6 cars working in teams here, and they were controlling both lanes. Me and Teddy didn't really have much of an option where to go. But all in all, it was a shame to see him crash out. Also, Greg Webb crashed out as well. But you know, to be at least one person representing All Pro in here and at least get a second by myself, that was pretty good, man.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like you guys had a great run at the end, watching you go neck and neck there with Mark Vega for a little bit, and eventually, you know, getting up there and doing that number 4 truck proud. So anybody, finally, while we got you here, you want to give a shout out, congratulate this win too?
Yeah, man, I definitely want to send this win out to Team Underdogs. That's me and Teddy, and a good friend of ours, Bobby Craze. We don't see much of him nowadays, but yeah, thanks to those guys. Thanks to Greg Webb, All Pro Racing, and obviously All Pro Broadcasting Network, Apache Science, and all the other guys associated with All Pro Racing, and Michael D'Amico. Massive thanks to them. Massive thanks to even Mitchell Rees. I believe this is his set, so thank you, Mitchell.
Alrighty, gracious words from your second place finisher here tonight, folks. Looks like we're not going to be able to get anybody else. I'm having some radio difficulties from the rest of the drivers, and won't be able to get anybody else for you here this evening. Apologize for that. But I want to give a congratulations to Jason Laney, the number 77 truck. Andrew Williams, who we talked to, the number 4, finishes second. The 48 of Robbie Williams finishes third. The cutoff point for payout goes to Johnny Smith, the number 27 truck, getting his $5 place prize. And the 5th, running out your top 5, the 67 of Mark Moffitt will make the 5th position. But extending down into the top 10 as it stands, Mark Murphy, number 11, followed by the 29 of Scott Holmes. John Ward, the 92, who was a lap down amazingly, was able to finish out in 8th. He started the night in 5th position, but you know, through the adversity, was able to come back and finish out 8th. And in 9th position goes the Mark Vega, the number 60 truck, and the number 46 of Chad Yoshitomi finishes out number 10. And for consolation, we'll give Steve Thomas a shout-out because he was the last truck to finish on the lead lap here tonight. But we want to thank you again for tuning in to the All Pro Broadcast Network here on our premier race on YouTube. All of our YouTube viewers out there, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely, we are typically found on Twitch TV, but you know, with the YouTube's exploration into streaming for gaming, we definitely are more open to that kind of thing. So we definitely wanted to explore our options there as well. So we want to be able to get as much of our broadcast out there across all types of media for all that and their individual preferences would like to watch. So we want to thank you again for however you're receiving us and tuning in. We appreciate it and look forward to bringing us, you know, more viewership as we will be broadcasting tomorrow night for the Dance Top Notch Super Speedway Series at Daytona. That's going to be another 50-lap race of the Xfinity Series cars. It's always some great racing action. If you're definitely encumbered tomorrow night, check us out on Wednesdays for the premiere race. We're going to be at Charlotte for trucks like you've seen here tonight for the Apache Graphics and Race Designs Truck Series, also sponsored by Michelangelo's Painting. A lot of good racing action coming up. Check out our website, folks. I've been broadcasting it all night, www.all-pro-racing.com. You can find all of our sponsors and all of our series schedules, race standings, all that and more. You can find that on our website. And if you're one to check out Facebook groups, we do have one of those. All Pro Racing on Facebook, folks. Check us out. Either way, you'll be able to get all the information you need more into one of those locations. So, once again, want to thank you for tuning in. I'm Dustin Caldwell, and on cameras is Michael D'Amico. Stay tuned, folks, because we're going to be back tomorrow night for some super speedway action at Daytona. We'll see you, folks.